This is Art and Talk's first online presentation. It is an entirely new format to create a conversation around individual art practices, processes, works in progress, thought bundles, or anything an emerging artist or art enthusiast or an art student can think of has value or might add some value to our discourse. And I'm Chaiti. I'm happy to moderate this interaction. I'm currently pursuing History of Art in Kala Bhavana. The theme of this particular talk is memes. That itself got me all very excited, as I'm particularly interested in all sorts of dialogues around popular culture, design, and communication. So, meme in 2020 is a valid form of culture that all netizens enjoy. It spams our lives, demands our precious working hours. Tickles are funny bones, and it's a promising stress buster. So let me introduce you to Bhavan's dear memelogist Manjira Majumdar. She is a student of graphic art and printmaking department in Kala Bhavana. I have to mention this, that she is the first braveheart to kickstart Art and Talks online presentation and conversation. Congratulations, Manjira, and I request all of you to please mute your microphones. And Dipayan is hosting this session, so whenever someone new comes in, please automatically mute his or her microphone. And he's currently within the campus, and there should be internet connectivity issues. So in such a case, please put off your videos while Manjira presents, and we will try to let the discussion flow, and there would be a question and answer session in the end. So please type in your questions in the chat box or unmute yourself at points where you would like to interact. And cutting to the chase, I'll let Manjira present now. All yours, Manjira. Carry on.
Thank you so much, Betty.
I'm muting myself. Yeah. Yes, you are audible.
Alright. So, when we think of memes today, there's something that is bound to come to your head. I want you to think about that. Internet memes today. Do any of the images over here ring a bell? Any of the images? So, I asked around a couple of people, some avid internet users, between the ages of 10 and 40, what they thought a meme was. And the best response is on your screen. Meme is an image, video, piece of text, etc., typically humorous in nature, that is copied and spread rapidly by internet users, often with slight variations. In my opinion, that is the best conclusion someone could have of an internet meme today. So, even though this is how we see memes today, it's probably not how it started. Back in 1976 is when the term meme was coined. Today we have it as a form of entertainment, as something humorous, something funny. But let's see what it was. So Richard Dawkins is a biologist, and in 1976 he wrote the book The Selfish Gene, where he first mentioned the word meme. And in this book, what he tried to say was that a gene makes exact copies of themselves through generations. So anything which has a similar property, which has something similar in its content, could do the same. So a meme has the potential to do the same as a unit of cultural inheritance through generations. And by generations, it means I hum a tune, Chaiti hears it, she hums it, and so on. So this is probably how we can say the meme culture has its origins from. Moving to the internet, this is the first image, the black and white image on your right, is what they say is the first meme ever recorded. Probably they have existed even before that and in between, but we've known it as a meme today. We've probably not known them as memes earlier. We've not coined it as a meme. And the image on the left is of the Cha-Cha baby. It is from 1996, where that was considered to be the first internet meme. The image on the right is probably the first image that was considered to be a meme and is recorded as a meme in 1921, way before the term was coined. But it probably existed even before that, in between, before we've come to know them as memes today. And the image on the left is of the Chacha baby. It's a character, VFX character created, and it was the first meme that was going around in the internet while it was still slow.
So,
Has my screen shifted?
yeah. So, Manjir, I'm wondering that as post 1996 and during the early 2000s, the 90s kids first encountered the internet, right? So, the Indian urban households too began using internet around 2005 or 2006. So, we used to come across funny stuff on Reddit, and yeah, you're showing Reddit actually. So, at that point in time, so how did this funny bone culture expand and evolve into a whole new genre, that is the memes, and with which we are pervaded now? So why did this happen? Why did the meme become so important, and why is it so unavoidable now? What do you think?
Post 1996, there were certain communities which were forming on the internet, and they were sharing their experiences through these dialogues, through these images, and these communities were being formed on Reddit and 4chan, such websites. And slowly they started conversing in a certain tongue. They started using a certain dialogue, a way of speaking. And more people got very influenced and excited, and they wanted to know what is this that they're talking about they're not able to understand within this culture. So that's probably where the formation of the meme community started to form. Yeah. A book called The Virus of the Mind was written by Richard Brody, a computer programmer, also in the year 1996. Does my screen show that?
Yes, it does.
All right. So The Virus of the Mind is the first popular book devoted to the science of memetics. Probably before that, we've not talked much about memetics. It was only something, it was just an idea. And then they slowly started to associate it with psychology, biology, anthropology, etc. And it so happens that it happens to be a very real and embedded thing in our culture today. So it's great that he wrote this book about virus of the mind. And we always say that laughter is contagious. So probably why something humorous tends to navigate its way through everyone quite easily. So let's talk about relevance of the meme. We all come across lots of memes every day. There are new things every day that we come across on the internet. And slowly we realize that a meme, which is probably really funny, really humorous, it's a big hit, is not that funny just within a week. Well, with how close we've become into the world, how the world has gotten smaller through the internet, we need new things to stimulate our minds. And a meme tends to stay relevant based on how it is affecting the present scenario, if it's having any sort of relevance to today, and also on how unexpected it is. We tend to laugh at anything which is unexpected and exaggerated. So anything which has a very haha element to it, we find it funny. We want to share it with people we know. We want them to experience what we experience. But something can be funny for only so long. After a point, it's not. Our brain is used to it, and eventually we get attracted to new ideas, and we block them out. Probably how some memes are quite dated, even in its aesthetic values. A meme from 2005 may look very dated today because we've come across new ways of telling our stories through within memes. So memes tend to form a lot of communities, and it tends to create an in-group and an out-group. So an in-group is when these communities are exchanging dialogue amongst themselves in a certain manner. It could be anything. It could be a particular TV show. It could be something related to politics. It could be classical art. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes,
with
we are. It's very funny. Carry on.
all right. So people within the out group tend to get interested. What are these in-group people talking about? We want to know what it is, and we want to be involved in this dialogue. And it creates curiosity, and the culture sort of grows within itself. We've come a long way from memes and meme uh, to even video memes. There are certain video clips which can be made into a meme within 5 minutes. We download a video clip, add a caption to it, throw it around on the internet, and there we have a meme. So as it's been rapidly evolving over, say, 2 decades, in 2014, Indiana University decided to understand what's going on. Why is it that a certain meme gets really popular and how certain memes are not? Is there a formula to how we can understand why a certain meme is gaining certain popularity, why it's going so-called viral, etc. And they came with the conclusion that there is no formula. It's just completely random. We don't know how a certain image or a certain dialogue is going to be perceived by XYZ human beings, and how it's going to be thrown back with a certain variation, with a certain change into the internet, and how it can gain popularity. But having said that, we can still say why we like memes.
One thing also I wanted to kind of put in, if you can elucidate on that, like, it's first of all, it's amazing to see how you have taken serious interest in memes, which is kind of meant to be very casual or a silly affair that goes on in the internet, and it's mostly disregarded by the orthodox thoughts and such people, and which is why also I think it's a whole new movement that has taken shape, and people kind of exercise their freedom of speech, their right to dissent, express opinions via coded images, and those are the memes actually. So these memes have become a very powerful agency or a tool that also allows the oppressed to be vocal in some or the other way. So my kind of question, or maybe you can elucidate on this, that why do you think that 21st century is so engrossed and so obsessed with the memes? And I mean, what made, Indiana University will devote, some people are there who are likely to become stakeholders, or sponsor, or put meme in a higher pedestal. But why is that becoming, what led memes become so obsessive? Why people are so obsessed with memes?
Well, for starters, memes are generally in one square box, in one image, and it says so much within it itself. It's a very quick way to satisfy yourself in one particular image. We get our information, we get our laughter, we get our humor, we get whatever it is that we're looking for in the community, and we can pass on to the next. And moreover, because it's generally humorous in nature, humor tends to disarm you. Fantasy tends to disarm you. If I were to put a serious statement out there, as me saying it could be conceived perceived in a quite rather negative sense. There's a possibility. I would be scared to be perceived negatively. Yeah. But if I put a cat face or a dog face, or a cat versus dog face, or whatever, it tends to change. It's just, it's funny. And then at the back of our heads, we have it in mind that, okay, you know what, this is probably serious. It's probably something we could think about later on, without immediately judging the person who is saying it.
So it basically helps us to get to the moot point without, humiliating anyone or something.
It's also a distraction from reality.
Yes.
So we're talking about why we like certain memes, why they get passed around the way they do. So often it is that we try to seek validation from what we put out, and memes are so quick. We can make them on our fingertips. We can can just pass them around. So it's really easy to seek validation that way. Often humor is used to break the fourth wall and create comfort. So memes are a very quick way to do all of that. You can make a statement, you can distract someone from reality, you can start a conversation, you can create comfort, and all of that. So because of all these reasons why we get really excited with memes have moved on from just being something funny within a community. Memes are being used to sell products. Memes are being used to also do all of these things beyond the internet. I came across Brandfire. It's this company that chooses to put out these memes, and they're an advertising agency which uses memes as a tool to advertise certain products. That's I think one of the most novel ways to use something which is meant for humor. And I've also come across Netflix India, where they try to use characters and elements from TV shows and films which are not from India. Because memes are so popular amongst us and how we tend to get so attracted towards them, you can easily sell products through these memes. I've come across Brandfire, as I've mentioned. They use memes to sort of sell their products. It attracts a larger audience, and also it has a very honest approach to it, even because it's humor. I mean, hey, buy it because this is cheap is probably not the best way to sell your product. But when you put it through a meme, it's like, okay, fine. It's supposed to be funny. We can probably check out what this is. And also about Netflix India, they include characters from films and TV shows beyond Indian content, and they try to put together a meme so that we get excited about these things which are not within India, and they're sort of selling these content or these films to us. Every time I visit Howrah Station, I have a blast amongst all the chaos and whatnot with the goods being unloaded and loaded into the trains. I always turn around and find these posters, which are basically asking you to not litter around. And such dialogue from these iconic films are quite popular, and it's sort of ingrained in our minds. And saying don't litter through these posters is hilarious, and I think more people should look at them and not litter. So they've sort of come out of our screens, and they have assimilated in our world, in our real world. And you can talk through memes. Maybe somewhere down the line, memes would be, a very essential skill to probably get a job. Since a lot of universities are also offering meme degrees, if not as a major or as a bachelor's degree, but they have little minor courses to do with memes.
Talking through memes, avoid real conversation.
Exactly. So memes have become a language in itself today, and probably sometime down the line we might have to use it as an essential tool, as a skill to get jobs, to get through job applications. What can you do? I can make memes. I can sell your product. Great, you're in. There's a possibilities. Maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, it would be, or maybe just 2 years down the line, or maybe today. It could be really important. And internet meme users or internet users in general tend to talk through memes quite often, and they've already created their community, they've enlarged it and added more and more people. And since the internet is readily available to more of us today, the community has gotten larger and larger. And I came across a couple of universities which were offering meme degrees. there are certain universities that are offering meme degrees, and they're using it to enhance their existing major courses. So it's sort of from minor course that you can get along with, say, economics, psychology, sociology, and sociology, culture studies, etc., meme marketing, business studies, all of that. And they've sort of changed from just being something funny on the internet, something to be used amongst certain groups of people, to something larger than in itself.
Mm-hmm. And also,
while all of us like to make memes, we tend to make fun of people, but very rarely have I come across people feeling offended for being part of a meme. I came across this little interview of someone who's made into a meme, and he calls himself the white blinking guy, because that's probably how most of the world has come to know of him.
I was trying to say that these images are, like almost vehemently reproduced, and they're manipulated and forwarded, till all its pixels are lost in the digital translation. And yet it offers, often resurfaces again to denote an entirely different context. Maybe after a year it suddenly re-emerges the same image, and it denotes an entirely different context. And in spite of all this, this form of culture never plays the victim card, saying that, hey, I'm a meme and I have been abused. That never happens, basically. So this is the universal character of the meme images that it never refutes. So I think this character makes meme the most, humble form of a digital cultural nuance. And although irrespective of the cultural being universal, the context of all memes are not universal. Like, some memes might appear entirely foolish to some communities, that you might have to stop using your brain and just look at the images. And whereas the same piece of meme might be a laughing stock or a highly intelligent idea for a different community or even a group of 2 or 3 people. So why do you think that the psychology varies from place to place and context to context? And I am already seeing Amurto's face here. Yeah, so.
Yeah, someone who knows Amurta might make sense of what's going on in the first image, or has idea of who the rest of the people in that image are. Could probably make sense of what's going on, have a sense of context. But someone without it may not. But all of these people are not really related. We're just using people from here and there, adding it together, and placing it, putting it on a plate where someone knows, someone has idea about who these people are and what the context is. While the image on the right is, again, of someone not everybody knows, it's just my face. And what I'm talking about over here is just something probably more universal, and it's exaggerated, so you might find it funny. There's possibility for a larger audience to find it funny, right? I hope that answers your question.
Right, yeah. And also when we come across memes, they are either carrying a popular message or a very alternative approach. And then there is countercultural memes and blatantly satirical memes, educational puns, or memes that are starkly political. And we already saw those Bollywood posters of Diwar and Sholay, so used in a meme format by the Howrah division authorities to grasp the attention of people and make them aware of how to behave in a railway station, as you said. So it's almost an intelligent collage by juxtaposing images and words against words, forming word plays, and all these images appear to be very effortless, but in reality it is a lot of trial and error that takes place to arrive at a viral meme, right? So do you think that the success or the fruition of a particular meme is entirely dependent on its number of number of people like sharing it, like the number of share status? Or I would like to put it in this way: how much value a meme will hold as an image if it is detached from the internet?
Alright, let's answer that question in parts. So firstly, could you please repeat the first part of your question?
It's a long thing. You might, like, you have it's like I'm saying that do you think that the success or the of a particular
Right.
meme is entirely dependent on its number of share status? And the second one is, I think you got it, what is its value if it is detached from the internet?
All right. So first of all, when we're trying to look at memes as an outsider, I think we're trying to disintegrate it. What is this? What is the grammar of this conversation? Why? What does it mean? We're constantly trying to understand it, but the person who's building it, the community that's building this conversation, is probably not thinking the same way. It's a language after all that has been developed. So so I think that could probably answer part of your question.
Second question is, I would like to put it in this way, that how much value a meme will hold as an image if it is detached from the internet?
Right. I came across a card game. Can you see this?
No, we can see.
Right. I'm not sure how much value does the meme hold once it's taken out from the internet. We've already walked out of the internet with our memes, with selling our products or putting up posters. But I came across this card game, which is not really creating images or creating funny content, but it has just taken the most popular memes, popular images from from stuff that are being passed around most commonly, and they've added some text to it, and you match up cards, you find it funny for 2 minutes, and you sort of forget about it. So memes as such can probably die out soon, and we find that we recently had a Binod phenomenon where everybody went around saying Binod for 3 to 4 days, and it died because we know that such does not make sense, and how long can you keep on saying Binod? Really. So when you use, say, a Binod in a certain context, it probably makes more sense.
All right.
So memes as such, in particular meme as such, is probably going to die out after a while. But once you place it in a certain context, it can add more meaning. It can sort of relive itself even if it has died out. And I think I'd like to end as of now. My presentation has come to an end. We started memes with the study of genes or genetics, and the study of genes have been going on for ages, but memes have existed in the form that we see it today for only over 2 decades, and there's more to evolve. It's going to evolve into more things. We're not quite sure what it can be. We're not completely sure what it is right now.
Right.
It continue to evolve, and we don't know what the future of memes is. So, yeah, the future of memes is unknown.
This is like the passive voice, active voice person, right?
Right.
So thank you very much, Manjira, for sharing your thoughts and around memes. And I think the history and evolution part kind of justifies that meme can be taken seriously too, and the future is, I think, diverse. And now I would like to ask all the viewers to ask any questions if they have. Shrotoshini writes that I came here for the presentation and not to be attacked like this.
I wonder what's attacking you.
Shroto says that she's seeking validation. That's it. So, and there is already one question from Ogni. He wants to ask that please emphasize why memes are dying out. I mean, they are growing in multiple formats. So, please, he wants to ask this, emphasize why memes are dying out. They're growing in multiple formats, but, they are kind of dying out. So, they have only evolved. What he's saying, I think.
Yeah. Because as I mentioned, we can find something humorous. It can attack our, funny bone to only some extent. And after a point, it's not that funny. You can be
Right.
astonished. You can find something exaggerated only to a certain extent, but not beyond that. So there are memes coming up every day. And yeah, I
And
hope that answers.
he's also asking this thing that what I think his question he has like written in this way, shares or relatability. I mean, I think he is trying to ask that how a meme is kind of successful with the number of shares or the context of the relatability. So what do you think?
I think you have to define what success of a meme is defined as. So, so let's say there's a tiny community and Ogni Nitro makes a meme about being Ogni Nitro. I, him, and a couple of others might understand. But when you place it in a different situation, it probably doesn't make much sense.
Right. That context will change.
It's
Right.
more universal. It is a possibility for it being shared. So I can't really say what is a successful meme, because that would depend on how big your community is.
Or maybe we can
But the
put
same-
it in a way that not saying that successful, but how much value a meme has, in one particular community or a circumstance or something like that.
Yes, and also how what is the next step that happens after a meme? It has become common. It has become popular. So does it remain on the internet? What happens to the person who's involved in the meme? I think all of that is also included. I think you can hear cars. Sorry about that. Yeah.
And he also leaves a line that he's saying that Agni is saying that they have only evolved and they're more popular and easier to make. That's why maybe they're evolving, and that's why there are new memes every day. Right? What you said.
It's on our fingertips. Anyone can make memes. Most of us can make memes. And it might not be good, or good is also subjective, but anyone can cook up a meme in 5 minutes. If you don't want to spend much of your internet, you can screenshot an image, crop it, put a caption, it's done. There's a meme. So yeah.
Continue.
Yes.
Sonali came in and she's writing Hurikitaka.
That's again an inside joke, I think.
So I was thinking about this. I mean, if any of you have any questions, please write on the chat box or just unmute yourself and ask. There's no trouble. So while I have another question, I'm so full of questions, I'm sorry about that, but the thing is, what do you think, what is the thin line between a comic illustration or a satirical image, or a comment, and a meme? Where is the threshold, or where is the thin line between, and what does it take for a funny image to become a meme according to you?
I think now more than how funny it is, it's about how you want to use it. Something can remain funny for 2 days, but when you put it in a different context, it tends to evolve. But what has a potential of a meme? I think anything has a potential of a meme. This conversation has a potential of a meme. No, anything has a potential of a meme if you're using your mind in the right place.
This conversation, and of course the behind the scenes and what jokes we have been planning and plotting since yesterday. Yeah, all of this have potential to memes. Right. And also, are there any websites that curate memes other than Reddit?
There are a lot of accounts on the internet which I remember vaguely in 2013 when I joined Facebook for the first time. There was something called Rajnikant versus CID jokes. I'm not quite sure how popular they are right now. Yes, Rotashini, you have the potential of a meme. So they were really popular. They came up with memes, I think, almost every day. They made relatable memes. They exaggerated things. They were making wholesome memes, all of that. I think there are several websites and several accounts on various websites which are curating memes. And moreover, memes are being, integrating itself into different platforms. Let's say it's a video, it's a YouTube video, and to make it more interesting, to keep your senses more active, you can add a meme for 2-3 seconds, and then you want to pause it and see what was that joke, what is that joke I'm missing out on. So yeah.
Yeah, and also the universality, it's not just about meme as a culture. I think in that sense the medium too. I mean, there are video memes, and then GIF memes, and then
Yeah.
the gridded
As we
memes,
evolve
and
on the internet, we've come with more forms of memes.
yeah. And to make memes, as you were saying, it has become so easy nowadays. Like, you log into gphy.com and then you make anything you want to. And I mean, you upload a series of images, and that just you make memes. It's just, a 2 or 5 minutes thing. I mean, and it would anyway look very
Absolutely.
funny because all the letters and the animations are popping, and already the preset buttons are there for you. So I mean, it's within our reach, and we can make memes on anything. And also on behind,
Yes, it's also a new way to explore your creative juices, I would say. People who are into baking and not succeeding, maybe you should try memes. Shruti, you should try memes. Your memes.
Shroto is finally feeling validated, and because you told her that she has got the potential to become a meme. So yeah, thank you, Shroto. And if I think, yeah, do you have anything else to say, please?
Do we have any more questions?
Yes, Shagnik.
Know Your Meme is a line of the largest non-academic website for memes. Alright, that's for Chaiti Nath.
Know Your Meme is one of the largest non-academic website for meme.
Right, exactly. I find so many schools having their meme pages, which only the people going to that particular school can probably relate to. Maybe they're making fun of a certain PT teacher, a certain biology teacher, etc. And you sort of get over them after a while, but sometimes you can go back and look at these memes from school, from these school pages, and like, oh wow, this teacher still does the same thing that they did before.
Yes. And Kaustav Acharya says that I was the admin of my school's official meme page once, and he's very happy to know that it's something we are
Yes,
discussing.
I actually remembered it from Kaustav Acharya's comment. And what? So, first of all, please type my name, right? And why do meme pages fail? Meme pages, maybe it's about consistency and about not putting in enough effort. We don't know why. We don't know why certain meme pages fail, but also don't know why certain meme pages are successful. Or what is that one hit that someone can get?
Right.
So, yeah. Keep making
Actually, I have a question.
Yes,
Don't
you are
think that
directly asked.
memes are like much more open to a big target audience? Like it gets bound to a age group, certain age group.
No. Okay, so
Is it not?
Actually, this is you're not asking me. You're directly asking Manjira Kaustav. Yeah. So I
okay.
guess she has heard you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on how active you are on the internet and how familiar you are with the language that is being used. I can go to my 60-year-old or 70-year-old grandpa, whatever, and ask him if he knows who Binod is. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know who Binod is, but if you show them a meme, okay, is this funny? Oh yeah, I think this is really funny because they have idea about what's going on with, say, the current politics or whatever. But if I include the reference of Binod into that, they probably wouldn't have an idea about what's going on. So we can find funny. You can absolutely find things funny, but memes have become a language in itself. So if you're not familiar with that certain language, if you're not familiar with the culture of a certain place, you're probably not going to get it. And that's with not just with age groups, with anybody. I often find certain memes because they're also having a play on the local language. If I include words in Bangla, or if I include words in Hindi, or have a little bit of Arabic, or have a little bit of this, that, it probably makes a little more sense to a certain person who has idea about these languages. But it's all about context, along with relatability. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes. So, anyone have any other questions or anything to ask or just to contribute in this conversation? Shagnik writes, I think Dawkins denoted all the non-genetic behavior and cultural ideas as memes and not the genetic attributes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. As I mentioned, if I whistle a tune and Chaiti goes around whistling it, and maybe she doesn't have a very good sense of music, and she makes changes, and so does Sharminda. It's forming a chain in itself with minor changes. So that is his idea of the meme. It could also be a particular sense of fashion to wear a waistcoat during summer or whatever. A sense of fashion. It could something that's creating a chain is what his idea of meme was, and we've taken it on the internet today as something else, which is fairly similar.
Right. Anything else anyone wants to? Deepayan was saying something about the Satyajitra limericks and the images yesterday while we were talking about it. Deepayan, would you like to say something? তাহলে বাংলা বা ইংরেজি যে কোনো একটা ভাষায় কিছু একটা মানে এই ব্যাপারে যদি কিছু বলার থাকে।
না আমি বলবোটা কি
মানে আমরা তো
বলেই তো শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
হ্যাঁ শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
না আমি বলছিলাম যে মেইন কনসেপ্ট নিয়ে এর আগে অনেক কনভারসেশন অনেক মানে সত্যজিৎ রায়ের সিনেমাতেও সেরকম ভাবে দেখা গেছে। তো যেমন কালকে যেমন বলছিলাম ওই চন্দ্রবিন্দু চ পেটালের তালিবস্য রুমালের মা, মানে এরকম ধরনের কনসেপ্ট নিয়ে অনেক ধরনের মানে মিমেরিক হয়েছে, তারপর ছোটখাটো ছড়াও হয়েছে সেই ধরনের বলছিলাম আর কি।
মানে আমার যেটা মনে হচ্ছে ইধার যেই মানে লিমেরিকটার মানে ছড়াটার কথা বললি ওটা অনেকটাই একটা দ্যাটস আ কাইন্ড অফ আ রিডল কাইন্ড অফ থিং, দ্যাটস আ পাজল উইচ ইউ নিড টু সলভ। তো আমার ওইখানেও একটা দের ইজ আ থিন লাইন মেবি ওয়ার মিমস আর বিং ডিকোডেড with words, and you cannot segregate in that way. I mean, obviously you cannot theorize memes.
Also, what I'm trying to mainly talk about is that you're taking something completely unrelated things and putting it together and placing it in one platter, which turns out to be funny. I think that's what he's trying to point out at. There are multiple things, if you put it that way. There are multiple meme potentials, but we probably wouldn't want to call that a meme. That's probably not what a meme is. It is funny, no doubt.
Tara's question. There's Tara's question.
Dedicated to explaining memes. Do you feel that a meme loses its point when you have to explain it to someone? Again, it's like explaining a language. So if I use a certain word and then have to explain it, how it is, what relevance it has, or what's the gravity of that word or that tone, it's like explaining. It's like losing the meaning of a joke. But probably next time you see that with a slight variation, you have an idea about what they're talking about. And you might find it funny the next time because you have an idea about what it is. You have context.
Yes. Anything, guys? Who do we have now? I mean, it has come to the end, so I would like to see who all we have.
And thank you all 7 people who have joined today. Thank you so much. This was the first edition via web, and I'm so glad to all the people who are
and
still
I would
hanging
also like to thank Bihan for coordinating and gathering all of us in this place.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bihan. Also, I'd like to thank Deepayan Da because he has actively helped out with the presentation that was lagging today. But thank you so much, Deepayan Da.
And also I would like to tag in this project called Sketchbook Project. It's an initiative on Instagram platform to collaborate and put out all the art students and emerging artists' work on a single feed. And also mentioning printmakers.016, which is an amazing platform by all our printmaking guys. I mean, my favorite department, although I belong to art history department, but still, yeah. So there is no tiff. So you can check out their website. The website has the display of this year's final year's display, which they could not do physically, so they put out a website and they designed the whole of it. So please go on and check all these two feeds, Sketchbook Project and Printmakers 016. We'll put all our updates there, like for the next talk and everything. And also invite you to get in touch with Deepa and Bihan or me or anyone like from Kala Bhavana, as we are all here, to, if you're interested to present on any topic, films, theater, performance, art writing, your own art, on someone else's art, or some vandalism or some other issue that's kind of interests you, in any language, Hindi, Bangla, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Telugu, whatever, any language. We'll try to fit in one moderator who knows that language, and we have a very diverse culture in Kala Bhavan, so we can do that anyway. So we'll surely revert and try to place you in the Art and Talks upcoming sessions, and also have a very nice puja and Muharram and other things which are coming up in the pandemic situation. Do not go out much and do not mingle within all those people, but still chill at home, be happy, and very humble to have all of you and all the, if there are any respected elders, teachers, thank you for being there, and our dear batchmates and classmates. Thank you everyone for sticking around till the end. Your attention motivates us, and thank you Deepa and Manjira.